All right. It thinks we're live. Oh my God. Are we live? We might be live. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see what
Hopefully.
happens. All right. Let's run through some quick tests. Check 1, 2, 2, check.
Squirrel!
Well, I can hear it on your monitor.
You heard it on my monitor?
Yeah, I heard your volume come through on your mic. Now, because you didn't follow through on that, we got to do that all over again because you're supposed to say something.
I am supposed to say something, but then it started playing right as you said check 1, 2, and then all of a sudden I heard you say it again, and the sounds, I was like, "Wait a minute, I thought I didn't hear the sounds." It was really confusing.
That's because you have your volume turned up on your monitor for YouTube.
I actually don't. That's the thing. You're just quieter than everything else.
Then how is it that I heard myself and the sounds come through your microphone?
Because I'm using the mic attached to the headphones.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to go with. Just be
All
quiet.
All right. Whatever piece of thing you want to claim. All right, let's do this again. We need silence.
All right.
Check 1, 2, 2, check 1.
Glitch. Squirrel!
Go.
Checking 1, 2, 3, 4. Checking.
Glitch. Squirrel!
Go.
Checking 1, 2, 3, 4. Checking.
Okay. Sounds like it's coming through just fine. I don't know. How's all the other people? You hear me as quiet? All right, fine. I'll turn my mic up. How's that?
Ow. My head.
I just cranked my mic for the complainer in the chat that says I'm quiet. How's it now, complainer?
Better.
Turn my mic up. It's not my fault your headphones are turned too loud for the microphone.
I have no comment.
What?
Well, I couldn't think of anything awesome to say because I got distracted. The teenager dropped an orange floof on my lap.
Oh yeah, it's lunchtime for the teenagers, isn't it?
Yeah, lunchtime for the teenagers. So they're home eating, and apparently the tiny orange floof was talking at them, and they don't understand what he's wanting, so they dropped him on my lap.
That's a good place.
He's a very talkative tiny floof.
He is a talkative tiny floof. Just wait till someone else pisses him off and they hear his growl.
Cuddles or cookie?
Cuddles or cookie? No, well, give him cookie.
Yeah, apparently he cannot be put down. He must have attention 24/7. Either he is sleeping on you or he is right next to you.
Okay.
Baby Maine Coon kitties need a lot of attention.
I guess. Someone needs to startle him and set off his growl again.
I was having a hard time believing you that he growled like an adult kitty, but then I heard him hiss, and it's like, holy cow.
Oh, no,
that sounded like it came from an adult kitty.
Yeah, well, you got to hear his growl, man. I swear to God, it sounded like a cougar was in the room. Or a lion, or it sounded like not just a large household cat, but a big wild cat, like a cougar, a panther, something. The ones that you hear on television shows, and you just go, "Oh!" But that's the growl he had, and it's like, holy crap!
Well, he's like 3 pounds right now, if that. But then he's going to grow to 25 pounds. He's going to be a giant kitty.
Yes, I know. Mancoons are huge.
No wonder people used to keep them on board of ships to get rid of all the pests.
Well, they have a big appetite.
Yep.
So you got to keep them happy. All right, so we've got lots of things, folks. We got an interview that's going to be coming up in another week or so, be released.
Yeah.
Nice interview with Elementor. With Ben from Elementor. Did an interview with him this morning, so that'll be released sometime next week. Just to give a break, since we're not doing a show next week, they can do that. Listen to the interview.
There we go. I'm looking forward to listening to it.
Yeah, well, you got to write the notes, so I guess you have to listen to it.
Well, no, actually what it is I get to listen to it, but then I have to go through again to make notes, but I get to listen to it before everyone else. So it's actually a cool thing for me.
Yeah, it'll be interview 62. Be the 62nd interview since I started counting my interviews. I did lots of interviews before I started counting them.
So if we go through and count up all the old ones.
Yeah, it's probably over 120.
Cool.
Probably double the number.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a while.
Oh, 1 or 2 weeks. Maybe a couple of days, an hour here, an hour there, you know. Not very much at all. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to WordPress today, you know. And my oldest boy turned 17 today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I find it amusing that WordPress's birthday is the same day as your brother's.
It's just that awesome.
Oh, and WordPress can drink now because it's 21 today.
Awesome. WordPress is legal everywhere.
Yeah, WordPress is legal everywhere now. All right. As we ramble and reach for all kinds of things to just rambly talk about this morning. Stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a random ramble kind of day. It's interesting. I had a really hard time finding WordPress specific news, but there's so much news that's floating around out there in the tech world right now.
Is there?
It's amazing. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, between the help I get for finding news and the news I found myself, there's a lot of news in the extras today.
Well, good.
But having a hard time why would they have that race for the WP Tavern if they're not going to actually hire any of them?
They didn't
I mean,
hire.
really?
They didn't hire any of them.
I don't think so because there hasn't been a single new thing,
Oh.
and it's been a while now. Like, what was the point of having the race if you're not going to do anything with results?
Oh, I have no idea.
It's irritating because I really liked having one specific place to go to get the best WordPress news to bring to all of our listeners. But now I've got to go scour everywhere and, well, it's all mildly connected, but not really connected.
Well, an interesting tidbit of history of that is the guy who started the tavern started it just about the same time I started my show.
Really?
Except for he was young and single at the time and had a little bit of money, and so he was able to travel from WordPress WordCamp to WordCamp.
Oh, cool.
Interviewed everybody and then wrote articles, and he did a fantastic job. He was fantastic in the beginning. I can't remember his name now. And but he did such fantastic work in the beginning, and people got to be afraid of him because well, not they're afraid, like, oh my God, if I talk to you, it's going to end up on the tavern. Well, yeah.
So they were wary of him.
They were wary of him, yes. But yeah, he did a great job, and then of course his life changed and went sideways, and he had to drop the tavern podcast for a while because he was also doing a podcast. And he had to drop it for a while, and then he managed to get back to writing, and then he had other things going sideways in his life, and the tavern actually went fallow for about 2 or 3 years. And
Jeff Chandler, I just found his name.
There we go, Jeff Chandler.
All of his things are still there. If you go back to page 237, you can find all of his original articles.
Oh yeah, all his original content's still there. And then he put the tavern up for sale and couldn't find a buyer, and then Mullenweg decided to buy it, and it became an official source for WordPress. And then they revamped it and took what was a pretty cool design and turned it into the design it is now. And then he hired a couple of really good people. You know, he finally got Sarah there for a while, for several years. Sarah was primary. Her content was great, but of course she eventually just got burned out.
Yeah, when you're the one person writing for it, I can see getting burnt out.
Well, it's not just that; it's the kind of flack you have to be able to take if you're an editor or a writer for something that was popular as the tavern. You know, if you get one thing wrong or you get people disagreeing with what you write, you know, the flack, you got to have a really thick skin. And no matter how thick your skin is, eventually you just go, you know what? I'm not getting paid enough to deal with this shit. I think she just got burned out though.
Yeah, I'm having a look at this, and like he did this for years, didn't he?
For about the
2013 is when Sarah Gooding came in.
Yeah, and she just left last year, so
yeah. So Sarah Gooding is the person who is keeping us updated for so long, like a long time there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Jeff was really interesting. I never managed to get an interview with him. I think I might have tried back during the heyday and the super popularity. Like this show used to be really popular right behind the tavern.
Oh, cool.
I think we had thousands of downloads per week for a while. That was when life was different.
Yeah, there wasn't so many options to get the information. It's one of the drawbacks to being around for a while is even though you're still giving the same information, other people come up and they have a more interesting way to give the information or this or that, and you end up kind of falling behind. But you know what? Everyone eventually comes back around to the beginning.
Yep. Our show is getting more and more traction once again. And with that, let's get a little music and head on into regular showtime.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
And there we have it, folks. It is time. Is it?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 628, and we have plugins for Packing Woo, editing menus, and WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, How do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z.
Is it sound
Good
done?
morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Clueless Amber overall.
And we are getting all ready up for a whole brand new show. A couple of great things today. First off, of course, WordPress is now officially legal to drink in the United States. Happy birthday, WordPress. And at the same time, happy birthday to my 17-year-old son, who turned 17 today also. And also a couple other quick little things here. You know, one, it's Memorial Day in the States. So with that, I want to give a minute of honors to all of the veterans who've served throughout Canada, the United States, and everywhere else. There we go. Bring that around once in a while, just because it's a good thing to do. Other than that, you know, I don't have a whole heck of a lot to say. If you want to hear some really cool stuff, go listen to our pre-stream. We had a pretty decent ramble today. And with that...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
All right. Your turn.
Okay. Yeah, see, I need something for you. I need you to do something because I'm totally clueless here without any of the sounds to let me know.
Yes, I know.
Is that why you were silently giggling earlier?
No, I was silently and giggling because of our title and our intro. Our intro, I actually had to mute my mic. It's, you know, packing woo. It's
Yeah.
it has so many twists that it could be done to it. So I just, yeah.
Well, you're the one who titled it Packing Them In. So
Yes.
welcome to episode 628. Got a couple of great in-depth plugins for you and some recent news in both the WordPress world and the tech world in general. And we got a couple of WordPress tips. Now, first off, we do have an announcement to make regarding the show and how often we will be coming back over the summer. During the summer months, well, our summer months, which is July and August, we're only going to be doing once a month. So throughout June, we'll be back 2 more times every other week. But for July, we'll be here on the 29th. August, we'll be here on the 19th. Only once a month for those 2, and then September we'll go back to normal. Now, I'm going to make sure we put these dates into our regular reminders here, and I'll make a mention of it until we get through the summer. But just so everyone has a heads up, starting July, it's only going to be once a month for July and August. Hopefully, everyone is managing to get out into the bit of sunshine that are showing up with a little more regularity now. I know some places are like crazy hot now, but most places still got that random weather that's going on. And a couple of reminders before we start the show. One reminder is that we have the show every other week, except for over this next summer, and it starts at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time with pre-stream starting at about 12:15. Pre-stream is where we twiddle with the dials knobs and really just warm up our voices. Sometimes we have a really entertaining ramble like today about the baby Maine Coon kitty. Or sometimes we have a really informative one where we'll actually get into discussion about cybersecurity and other things. Our show notes for each episode can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. The newest show notes will be up within 24 hours and on our front page. Don't forget, this is a value for value show, and you are a big part of its creation. You are our producers, and we need you to get out there and help us to produce. Get out there and hit some like buttons, share an episode or two. Let people know that you helped to produce the longest running WordPress Plugins podcast. That's it for reminders. Don't forget to stick around till the end of the show for some possibly life-altering advice. In other words, I ask questions, he answers, and it could change your entire way of doing things. Maybe. Today's artist is Sir Rogue of the Tavern, Baron of Couch and Valley. This is a really random picture.
It absolutely is.
It makes me think toddlers on sugar.
That could be it. I was trying to find something to represent packing them in, so.
Well, yeah, this looks like if you packed in a whole bunch of toddlers with sugar into one room and gave them crayons.
Yeah.
Looks about right.
Yeah, that's about right.
It is pretty awesome, though. Very happy colors. I like that.
Yeah, or, schizophrenic on Coke.
And with that, on to the news.
All right, let's have some news here.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
Yes, Amber.
So, first thing we got today is WordPress Vulnerability Report, May 22nd, 2024. This is from Solid WP. In this report, there are 153 vulnerabilities, though there have been 119 patches made so far. And that's just for the plugins. The 34 plugins that need patching up are right at the top, so it makes it pretty easy to figure out what to pay attention to. Be sure to follow the link and have a look through for your own clients as well as your own sites. Themes that are currently with a vulnerability is image, magic, sharpen, resized images. The rest have been patched, which that seems like a plugin name, not a theme name to me, but it's a theme. Next up, we have WordPress Vulnerability Report from PatchStack. These guys always have awesome information. At the time of writing this, the most recent issue was 5 hours ago, and it was a plugin called KK Progress Bar 2 Free. It had a CSRF vulnerability, which means it could allow a malicious actor to force higher privileged users to execute unwanted actions under the current authentication. Or, do something like give a writer admin capabilities against your will. Same kind of idea. Definitely have a look through this because you can switch between the patched, exploited. You can choose whether it's everything WordPress themes or what have you. If you learn to use this site, you will be fairly up to date. Because while the first one, what they call themselves again? Well, Solid WP is pretty decent. They give you a list once a week, so it's a stationary list. These guys, they're constant, always renewing, always happening. So they're really good to check out. Next, we have WordPress status or post status WordPress Community Roundup week ending May 17th. So post status actually does a pretty good job of this roundup of things going on the WordPress community. They start with what went on in WordCamp Europe, talk about a few other things, and then they move on to a list of quick links down towards the bottom that are worth checking out. Things such as the logistics of bringing your team to WordCamp and conference, and WP Coffee Talk, Chris Vanover. I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't even know that the WP Coffee Talk was a thing. It's more like a YouTube podcast thing, so I haven't checked it out yet because I like to read things in the morning. I find podcasts are like for the evening kind of deal. But it's definitely worth going and checking it out. Next up, we have Google Patches 4th Chrome 0 Day in 2 weeks. So the one that they've just patched up has been exploited in the wild. The Chrome vulnerability, they gave it this lovely long name, CVE 2024-5374. It's a high severity flaw described as a type of confusion in the V8, JavaScript, and WebAssembly engine. They don't really give more of an explanation than just that on what it specifically means or really what it's doing or how it's exploited. Though generally Chrome vulnerabilities tend to be exploited by commercial surveillance software vendors. That is what the past has shown us. But the fact that they are dealing with a 4th 0 day within the last 2 weeks, that's a little worrisome. Usually 1 0 day once in a while has been what I've seen. What about you? How often do 0 days happen?
0 days happen a lot. They just don't always announce them.
Really?
Yeah, 0 days they're flaws that have been there since the code was written in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And they exist in every piece of software. Sometimes they manage to find them and patch them themselves without telling anyone, but sometimes the hackers discover them, exploit them, and before they get a chance to patch them, and that's how they discover them. So
Okay,
they happen a lot. They're just
so
not
like
as
4 in 2
popular.
weeks isn't actually that big of a deal.
It could be. It's just, it means that the hackers have been extremely active.
Busy?
Yes. They've been extremely active to find them and force Google to deal with them. Sometimes they even know about 0 days that they don't deal with because the problem of getting them fixed without breaking everything is there.
All right. Well, the next thing I have here is my random one I bring. There's not really much WordPress news specifically this week. But here we have a new browser war is brewing in Europe. And honestly, the Star Wars reference here, it's totally what caught me and why I actually wanted to read the article. I have to admit that. So the browser war, what's happening is that because of EU's Digital Markets Act, the DMA, forcing tech giants to open their platforms to rival browsers, a lot of alternate browsers have been popping up. I think this is great. The writer here is comparing using Google Chrome to being in a bad relationship. That's kind of true. Google Chrome doesn't treat you that well.
No, it doesn't.
But it's pretty much all that people can use for a lot of things. So yeah, it's kind of being in a bad, you know what? It is being in a bad relationship because Google Chrome demands that you can only use Google Chrome for a whole bunch of the add-ons and everything. And you can't find those same add-ons that are connected to your account and everything if you use anything else. So yeah, it's controlling and manipulative.
And
it's not nice.
And it insists upon updating no matter what you do. The moment you shut it down, it updates.
It's an abusive relationship. Google Chrome is mean. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to use any of these new browsers that are coming through in Europe, here in Canada, or North America in general. I'm not sure, but maybe if some of them get big enough, they'll be able to be used all over the place, which would be great because I would love to have more options of what I currently have. I mean, mostly I use DuckDuckGo. No, that's my Firefox. There we go. I mostly use Firefox Developer Edition. But I'm finding that it's having issues and it's not behaving very nicely either lately.
Yeah.
So we're having issues here.
We're having issues. Well, so Firefox is the progenitor of Netscape. So.
Well, either way, I hope that we manage to get access to some of these new browsers that are popping up. Hopefully, some point soon, we'll be able to have more browsers popping up here in North America too.
Yeah, they will. They'll spread across the internet, and if they're good, they'll spread even faster.
So
the problem is those stuck in the Google environment are going to be stuck having to, like I don't use Chrome except for Google products. Is the only thing I use Chrome for, because if you try to use Google products in Firefox,
it lags, it breaks.
They don't work. It's something that Google's done, and
yeah.
And Firefox has some of its limitations too. And of course, the what's it called? The one that's from Microsoft right now? The
Safari?
No, Safari's from Apple.
Okay.
And I can't remember Microsoft's browser. Edge, that's what
Edge.
is now. Edge, that's their progenitor from IE. But we only have 4 browsers right now, and each one of them has their own proprietary stuff that they want you to use it on, that you have to use for certain things. That's how they manage to maintain them. But as far as tools go, you just find the one that works best for you and go with it, even with the irritants.
So we do have a whole lot of things in the extras today. There's a little bit more WordPress, sorta. It's more about like 12 WordPress site settings that are critical to your SEO success and things like that. But there's one thing I wanted to mention was ICQ Messenger shuts down after almost 28 years. So
ICQ shutting down. Oh my God!
Yep.
I haven't used it, so I lost my pet login to it. I had a 4-digit ICQ number. I was one of the first, 1,000 people to get there.
Well, they're shutting down. So
Well, I guess they don't have the traffic they used to.
So yeah, for anyone who's interested, you'll find that in extras. There's a whole bunch in extras. There's stuff like Windows 11's recall feature is already running on unsupported CPUs, and that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So do check out our extras. There's always some really good stuff in here. I also throw some random Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
Oftentimes just funny and entertaining. So check it out. See what I threw in there.
I'm surprised that ICQ wasn't able to pivot and make themselves continuously relevant. Because it was a messenger that actually worked.
Yeah, your alternate ego said she had one too. Tried years ago to get in, but couldn't.
Yeah, well, that was me. I tried getting in a few years ago. I found my number and I couldn't remember what email address I tied to it. Because I had so many email addresses back in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s. I used it in the late 90s and all the way up to the early 2000s when I quit using it.
Hey, whatever happened to Hotmail? Do you know?
It still exists. It's been converted into Outlook.
Ah, okay.
If you type in hotmail.com, you don't go to that really interesting site when you mistype it. You end up Outlook. There is actually someone that registered the domain hot MALE to capture the typos for Hotmail.
All right, well, on to Dragon rating.
All right, let's go check out the plugins we've got. All right, first plugin we've got here for you. The one I've got for you is called PDF Invoices and Packing Slips for WooCommerce. This is an extension to add into your site, a plugin to add in there. So if you're running a WooCommerce website and you've got to ship stuff, you know it's kind of a pain with the default setting to print out a packing list that you can stuff in the box to ship with the people. Well, this one here, this plugin allows you to easily create a PDF packing list that you can then nice and simply shove into the box to ship whatever you're going to ship off. It also has the ability to create a invoice, PDF invoices for you. And it comes with some default settings in it and a default template. If you're really good, you can go in there and create your own template, or you can wander on over to their site and buy the other premium templates they have to offer. They've got a few other premium functions for it, but it's not pertinent to the function of the plugin itself. The plugin itself works just perfectly all by its lonesome, allows you to easily create and make the PDF invoices and templates you need. And for your clients, they can log into their account and they can then access and get those PDF invoices and templates themselves. So it's a really great tool, really great add-on if you're running a WooCommerce website to help save yourself some time, grief, and headache when it comes time to pack up all that stuff and ship it off to the clients. So go check it out. It is the PDF Invoices and Packing Slips for WooCommerce by WP Overnight, and I give it a 5 Dragon rating. Okay.
All right, now you get to do the Wii.
Oh, we got to have some Wii. This little piggy went to market. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you said that like and then did the Wii or if you did the Wii first. I don't know. You have to tell me.
Well,
you're just having too much fun with this.
Until we figure out a way to get the sounds to you without me having to MacGyver MacGyver the whole situation. I have to MacGyver it all together to get the sounds to you right now, and I'm really not up for MacGyvering it this time.
All right, so for the WordPress tips, we would love to hear some tidbit tips from some of our producers out there. What have you broken because you had to fix something? What did you figure out when you fixed it by breaking it, or what did you purposefully break just to see how it worked? Let us know. Send it in to us. So making sites. Something that is good to know is sometimes there is no other option to save a site than to just do a complete rebuild.
I gotta catch this. I'll be back.
Okay. If the site is something you really want to help the client out with and they are some sort of organization, it might actually be worth their time and money and effort to do the site for a donation receipt. If it's something you really truly think needs to stay available to the general public, you can find the time. I mean, all of us manage to find time to do things like go camping or fishing or walks or something, like watch a movie or a show. If we have time to binge watch a show, we have time to work and recreate a site that we really believe in. And if you really believe in it, it's not going to be work. However, you are going to find yourself spending more time on it and learning more and doing more, because if it's a donation receipt, something like that, it's already essentially paid for. Neither you nor your client are really going to worry about the cost or the hours that you spend. And when you do extra time on something, it really can help with your understanding. It can build on your information, understanding, all kinds of things. Always go for something you are most interested in if you're going to do something pro bono. Never do something that you're not believing in or interested in, because if you do, then it's just another job and you're going to end up finding yourself resenting the time that you spend on it because you're not getting any money for it. You're just getting something like a donation receipt. Hi, Hemdian. Good to see you. Next, I have beginner's tips. If you're working on a site and you can't get the plugin to update, well, there are so many things that you will have to do. First thing you can do is just try going to the what is it called? I can't think of it. The one right at the top.
The one right at what right at the top?
Home and then updates. There we go.
Oh.
You go up at the top option on the left-hand menu and you go the updates, and then you can click which ones you want to update. Only click off one and tell it to update whatever one you're having trouble getting to update on the plugins page. If that doesn't work, well, you get to do the whole thing. You get to go through and click them off one by one, try to re-upload it, all kinds of fun things. I've written them out here if you don't really know how to do that yourself, but for the beginners out there, there is no shortcut, not really. If something's not working, you have to do the whole thing, and there's no way around it. But once you figure it out, go give yourself a treat or something, because it's going to be long and tedious. Don't let that dissuade you from continuing on, though. Just take it as, part of the learning process. And eventually, you'll get faster at it.
Okay.
Now for my plugin.
Now for your plugin. Little plugin bumper for you.
Play noise?
There you go. Your turn.
Okay, I talked right through it. Admin menu editor. So this is a plugin that I've been using for a while now, and I realized I've never actually done a review on it. You may have at some point because you use it on your John Overall site. What this plugin does is it offers the ability to reorganize and or rename everything in your left-hand main menu of your dashboard. For instance, you can rename users to minions or something like that.
Yeah.
Once you install and activate this, you will find the plugin dashboard under settings in your left-hand menu. Here you will land on the admin menu option. Here is where you can drag and drop to reorganize where things are in your menu. So for instance, you can put pages right below or above posts. You can put them together, which I think is awesome. You can also change around the submenus or create new submenus or remove old submenus simply by dragging and dropping. You can rename anything, such as users to minions. You do have the option to change the URL and other items, but unless you really know what you're doing, I wouldn't try it. You can choose to hide or show any menu item, and you can create login, logout redirects. There are shortcodes provided for a few utilities, mainly intended to help with creating login, logout redirects, but you can also use them in posts and or pages. And don't worry if you do go ahead and try changing around the URL or delete anything that is default, it will reappear after saving. This is to make sure that you can never get rid of a main menu, you can never really hide it or change its access permissions. And just in case something does go horribly wrong, you can always reset the menu configuration back to the default by going to, I put the URL in there. Essentially, it's /reset admin menu = 1. Replace, and all you have to do is replace the example.com in the URL with your site URL. And as long as you are logged in as administrator, you can fix this. You can always set it back to original. There is a pro version that has a lot more options, including a per role menu permissions option, which I thought was actually a really good idea. If you're needing to give access to a variety of people and don't want to give them the typical default access to all the menu options, this will work really well for you. So even though this has a pro option, the I can have fun factor raises it up so much in my mind. I absolutely rate this at 5 dragons.
Very cool. All right, 5 dragons it is. Very nice. Okay.
So, join in, be part of your own production, support the show at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, we didn't play the donate link, did we? There we go.
I don't know, did we?
No, let's play it.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
Okay, there you go. As I'm playing it a couple of times, just because I can't seem to push the buttons.
Hendian said, I've been using Menu Simplifier, but this looks like it might be better. Have to try it and see. I would say definitely give this last plugin that I just talked about a go. Like, test it out, see if it'll work for you. The they don't stop you from using any names, which is, I think, is really cool.
Yeah. You can name it anything you want, crazy as you want it to be.
Apparently, you're 10% volume of me and Jingles.
I'm 10% volume.
Yep.
Well, I can't turn it up any higher. Actually, I can. There you go. How's that?
I don't know.
Crank
How's
my
that,
microphone. Crank my microphone to the max.
All right. So there are a lot of ways that you, as our producers, can utilize us as your tool to help yourself out too. Get a producership credit, do an interview, donate some time, get your name up here, all kinds of things. You can look further into the producership credits options by going to our site, wppluginsa2z.com, and clicking on time, talent, or treasure in our main menu. You're being told, sit tall and talk loud, man.
Yeah, that's probably what I need more than anything else.
All right. We have some miscellaneous announcements from us and our producers. Well, no miscellaneous announcements from our producers, but we have the next 5 WordCamps. We have WordCamp Montclair, New Jersey on June 1st. Somos in Cuento WordPress LGTB Plus on June 1st. WordCamp Krakow, Poland, June 7th to 9th. WordCamp Cartagena, June 7th to 9th. And WordCamp Europe, June 13th to 15th. So to see the entire list, you can follow the link for central.wordcamp.org. And if you're interested in finding WordPress meetup somewhere, you can go to meetup.com/pro/WordPress. We have those links right here in our show notes. And we also have, sorry, I'm getting distracted by a kitten who's trying to climb on the keyboard. We also have our physical brick and mortar address. If you are interested, you can send in art or notes, or just, send a thing saying hi. Send a postcard. That would be great to get a postcard instead of just a bill. That'd be so cool. And we also have our virtual addresses where you can reach us as well. And today's plugins we covered were?
I covered up the plugin for PDF invoices and packing slips for WooCommerce by WP Overnight. Automatically attach your invoice to PDF or UBL to WooCommerce emails of your choice. Download the PDF or UBL invoice. Packing slips from the order admin page. Generate PDF invoices, packing slips in bulk. So very cool plugin. Go check it out. I gave it a 5 dragon rating.
All right, and I covered Admin Menu Editor by Janice Elsts. Change menu titles, URLs, icons, CSS classes, and so on. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. You can change the icons and CSS classes too. Organize menu items via drag and drop. Change menu permissions by setting the required capability or role. I think that one only comes in Pro, but it's still pretty awesome. I rated this at 5 dragons.
All righty.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
All right, go for it. It's question time.
If you have any questions you'd like to have asked here on the show, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad. I'm starting to think it's impossible, but hey, there's always a chance. And just as a reminder, we're looking for questions that are within his purview of knowledge, not something that is so outside of his knowledge there's no way he can answer it.
Yeah, no point in asking me questions about what am I thinking of? Physics. That's it. Physics.
No black hole theory questions?
No, they won't help.
All right. So we have some questions from a listener. With all this cybersecurity issues going on, all these cyber hacks, how can I have a user know that the web page that I am creating or using is safe? Besides looking up at the URL, making sure there's a little closed lock over on the left-hand side.
Well, nowadays, if they don't have HTTPS, all the browsers pop up a big red warning. Some browsers won't even take you to the page if they don't have SSL certificates.
Well, what if it has all of the SSL certificates? It's HTTPS.
Well,
How can you tell it's safe?
you can't really. You gotta have some faith in the people. You gotta trust either the name, or you've got to trust that the people are not doing you wrong. You're kind of at the mercy of it once you decide to browse through the website.
All right. Next question from the listener. Is there a way to protect my data and that of my clients on my website? Keep the data from being leaked and sold on the dark web.
Ensure all your security is up to date. Your firewalls are up to date. Aside from that, it's impossible because a determined hacker will get in. Because who was it recently? Wasn't it London Drugs that recently got hacked?
Yeah, London Drugs.
You can bet that they spend a shit ton of money on their cybersecurity.
Yep.
So it's like there is no 100% way. All you can do is the best you can, providing that you make sure all your known security holes are plugged, as many unknown security holes are plugged as you can do. Making sure you're with a good server host provider. And the other thing is keep minimal amount of data about your clients on the website. I mean, there was once a time in the internet where clients used to enter their credit card numbers, and I stored their credit card numbers on my servers. That was like 15, almost 20 years ago. And of course, the hackers found out about that, and they started hacking websites just for that information. And so that information was removed, and it was pushed off to the credit card providers who have even higher security protections. So it's like the thing is there is no 100% way to guarantee the safety of your data. You just have to do the very best you can to secure it. And there's tons of different things that can be done, but in the end, nothing is 100%.
And the last one, is there a way to protect just myself?
Yeah, don't use the internet.
Stay offline.
Stay offline. Put everything in writing. Use the old-fashioned postal method. Send up smoke signals. Well, smoke signals can be intercepted. So talk person to person. Don't even use the telephone unless it's a landline. That's old rotary dial. Seriously, they're to protect yourself. You just have to be aware. You just have to think through what you're doing. Making sure that when you go to a website, you double check you're going to the website you intend to go to, because there's so many copycats and typo websites out there now that are for scammers and hackers.
Always check the URL.
Always check the URL. I've typoed a couple things, like hit, and I was like, what? That ain't where I need to be. Quick, close that window. It's like, and then I realized I typoed it, and so what I have to do is I have to double check and make sure I've typed it right, or go look up the URL for it. But there's so much out there right now. The arms race has reached the critical point now.
And Hendian pointed out, I believe Krakow is pronounced Krakow, not Krakow. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I know I murder names and places a lot.
Yeah, but you do it so cutely.
Krakow, I guess. Okay. That's it for that. That was from a listener, so I'm guessing they wanted to stay anonymous.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever. That's really all you can do. All right. With that, before we close out, just to let everyone know, there's going to be a meetup held on July 7th at the Oasis. More information is going to be forthcoming. It is a great big birthday party for me. So more information is coming about that. It's going to be happening on a Sunday, July 7th of this year. All right. With that, let our girl take us on out of here, and we'll be right back after the closing credits for the rest of the questions. So those listening on downloads, you got to wander on over to YouTube's to hear the rest of the fun stuff. All right, here we go.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaz.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaz.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty then, we is back.
All right.
And Hemdian had a nice comment about data security. Don't be a data pack rat. Only collect the minimum amount of data needed. Only use it for what you said. Only keep it for as long as needed, and no longer reduce the potential damage. Well, yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
If you're running a smaller business and you're not using data to track everyone and figure out all their ideas or their reasons, their motivations, their motivations for what they're doing, which is why they collect as much data as they do over on Facebook, YouTube, Google, all this. They use that data to figure out the motivations of why people are doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
To sell them more stuff is basically what it is. And then, of course, to turn it over to the government to track everyone to see what they're up to. So, yeah, it's great to do that. And, of course, the only people they ever punish are the small businesses that violate. They never punish the big corporations for violation. So
that's because the big ones just pay them off.
All employees all leaked after they folded. Yeah, that's it. A Vancouver-based hardware supplier folded a few years ago. They kept everything, old customers, old employees, data, all leaked after they folded. Yeah, well.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, and that's the problem. And of course, that data is highly valuable now in multiple ways. Well, not highly valuable. You don't get much for selling somebody's personal data on the dark web anymore. That's
no, not really.
They got to collect so much of it now. Multiple image backups of their servers sold to third parties, including people flying in from China. Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Well, my next question here is, if Europe winds up getting a totally awesome browser, winning the browser war that started up over there, do you think we might be able to get it working here in North America?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Because browsers are browsers. They work on a computer.
They do and they don't, because there's lots of things that I am told does not work in my country. So there's blockade.
What doesn't work? What doesn't work in Canada versus, say, England or France or Germany?
If you go to certain sites, you can't get access because they're not for your location.
Go ahead.
That's what.
So that's GeoIP data or websites.
And the browser can't have that done?
No, the browser doesn't control GeoIP.
No, I know that, but what I mean is, would you still be able to get a browser that is, I guess, created for Europe, hosted in Europe, or what have you?
The browser's not hosted anywhere.
Okay.
The browser is software running on your computer.
And it would work. Okay, so it would work then.
It would work just fine, provided it's made to operate in the Windows operating system or the Mac operating system or the Linux operating system. That's all the browser needs to be is coded for whatever operating system it's going to run in.
Okay. See, I
That's
was thinking that they were kind of country.
no.
Okay.
No, Firefox is worldwide. Chrome is worldwide. Edge is worldwide. Safari is worldwide. Once upon a time, Netscape was worldwide. Once upon a time, AOL was worldwide. AOL had their own browser. For those that have forgotten, AOL exists.
I remember AOL. It was slow.
I still got a few discs kicking around for AOL.
Oh, wow.
Every once in a while, I go through a pile of old discs. It's like, oh, I still got an AOL disc.
All right.
Yeah,
I guess that does make sense. I just, for some reason, I thought it could be controlled too, but I guess not.
No, there's nothing they can do to control or limit it. Well, they can sort of limit it, but but the thing is if it's built for a particular operating system, wherever that operating system is on the globe, that software will operate. That's just the way it works. So.
All right, and dial-up. Yeah, I remember that.
Dial-up.
I actually have a recording of the 2 versions of dial-up sound that you could get. And every once in a while, I'll just randomly play them when the kids aren't paying attention. They start looking around for that noise, going, "What the heck?" I want to get like a little device where I can just remotely press play and have it just hidden around the house to drive them insane.
Yeah, that would work. Oh, and one more comment Hemdian had on that credit card or that info leak is the credit card info may have been out of date, but the ex-employees had to change their social insurance numbers.
Oh man, yeah, that would be a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing is like, well, if you're a company collecting that data, you definitely want to have it protected and only keep it for as long as you need to. And when the employee's gone, delete the ultra personalized stuff. You may keep their name on file, but delete their social insurance number and other pieces of information that are not needed.
All right, so my last one is I mentioned last year that it seemed like cybercrime was happening with more frequency. And honestly, this past year hasn't changed my mind. It does seem like it's just stepping up its game. Or do you think we're just catching more and more of them in the act?
I think they're catching more and more of them.
Yeah?
The cyber crime has been going on since the beginning of the internet.
Yeah.
And it's
But
always
the amount that's happening.
The amount that's happening, I don't know if it's any more than it used to be. They're going after more valuable targets than it used to be. I mean, the amount of hacking that goes on is insane. I mean, the amount of attacks on my servers daily is insane.
Okay.
And this is continuous throughout all of the internet. Now, most of those attacks are just bots. Because they program bots to go out there and do all the hard work of pounding at a system until they find a crack in the wall. As soon as they find a crack, they insert something, they email home or report back home to a human who can then widen that crack and sneak in.
Okay.
That's basically the best way to view it. It's like throwing 1,000 pounds of sand in a wind machine recycled against a dam, and a small crack forms. And if you keep pounding the sand, the crack doesn't get bigger faster. And they go, "Oh, okay, we got a crack." Somebody comes up with a chisel and a hammer and pounds into that crack and splits it open further.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
That's basically what the bots do. The bots find the small holes, then they call a human in to insert something in there and make the hole larger.
Okay.
In fact, there's websites out there that have been hacked. They don't even know they're hacked. They've reported home to the human, and the human doesn't have time to get to it. It just sits there and waits. And the human finally comes in through the back door that the bot created and then creates the havoc.
Okay.
So, of course, the biggest problem about it all, a lot of these hacks, the hackers didn't even enter through through some crack they found. They entered right through the front door.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest issues I'm finding is there's a lot of those cases.
Mm-hmm. They entered right in the front door by someone who was either sleepy or stupid or not awake or whatever, and they click, "Oh, I got an email from Joe wants to give me $1 million. Click here. Oh, click here."
Mm-hmm.
that one's exaggerated, of course. But the simple thing is they get through those, and then of course been a while since I read any pen test articles, but the last one I read was less than a year or so ago. One of the most popular ways the pen testers still use is dropping a pile of flash drives in front of a corporation.
Yeah.
And one of them gets picked up by an employee who takes it upstairs and plugs it into his office computer. So the human component is the biggest hole in security. That is,
you are the weakest link.
Yeah, you are the weakest link. The human is the weakest link in all the security. Here we go. I block so much crap with Cloudflare, WP Firewall, WP Bad Blocker, Black Hole, something or another you guys recommended a while ago. Yeah, it's the same thing with the website. So that's the stuff that gets past the server to the websites. That's the problem. Is a lot of that. The server stops a lot of stuff. At least my servers do. Not everybody's servers do, but my servers stop a lot of stuff. And then there's stuff that gets past the websites because it's slightly sneakier. So yeah. And as far as an increase, well, maybe there's an increase, or maybe we're just catching more of them. Maybe they're not as sneaky. Like sometimes there's some flaws that only a handful of hackers discover these flaws. They don't share them, and they exploit them for a very long time before they're discovered. You can find articles about some flaws where hackers may have exploited them for weeks or months or even a year or two before they were discovered. Because
and then it's a scramble to try to figure out how to do damage control.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's the big one, is the companies have to figure out how to do damage control. And then they have to figure out what data was leaked. They have to go through all their logs. And figure out what data was moved, transferred, accessed. So, a lot of work. So.
And by the way, I'm glad Black Hole for Bad Bots is useful for you. I really like Black Hole for Bad Bots.
Yeah, I use it a lot. It seems to
Me
work.
too. I like the reports that you can get to. It's helpful because it helps you to understand what's going on.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bad bots out there on the internet.
Really, I'd never have guessed.
Yeah. So, All right, well, with that being it, I think we should call this a wrap. Thank you, Hemdian, for showing up. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Love it when you chime in. You always got such good things to add.
All right, so a little bit of music to carry us on out of here.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes
Alrighty, folks. That's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed.